The problem of scale in governance. The core challenge facing any government is the problem of human scale. Human scale refers to the fundamental mismatch between the size and complexity of a state and the natural limits of human comprehension, human empathy, and social coordination. As populations grow into the millions, systems can become bureaucratic and impersonal. This disconnects the government from the real needs of the people. The core tension is, or the essential question is, how can government scale up to serve large populations while still preserving accountability and responsiveness to people's needs? The ancient foundations. We trace the problem back to the ancient Greek thinkers. Aristotle famously called man by nature a political animal. He insisted the ideal polis would be small enough for all citizens to know each other and actively participate in civil life. Athens, for example, which produced world-class philosophy, architecture, drama, things we still remember and cherish in Western culture today, hovered around 160,000 people. Now, I'm not sure how 160,000 people all knew each other, but what the Greeks did do is they limited civic participation to natural-born citizens, male citizens. Lots of people were excluded. But the point being, according to the Greeks, good governments required a manageable, human-sized political community. The Romans provide a crucial contrast to this. The expansion of the Roman Republic into the empire showed that massive scale could enable power and bring stability, but it fostered alienation and eventually created tyranny. As power is centralized in the emperors and bureaucracies replace civic involvement, thinkers like Cicero worried about the inevitable loss of civic virtue. The Roman lesson is clear. The loss of human scale can destroy liberty and human virtue, even while order is being well maintained. Which brings us to the Enlightenment thinkers. Enlightenment thinkers thought institutional solutions to govern larger societies while preserving liberty. Montesquieu argued that republics are best for small states, believing human liberty was threatened by centralization. He advocated for the separation of powers as a countermeasure, something that our founders wisely enshrined into our government. Rousseau further warned that scale will undermine the general will being a morality, a natural law, things that are self-evident and inalienable, claiming that too big of a state for citizens to govern would have to be ruled by force. Historically, French revolutionaries demonstrated the danger of this error by mapping his small-scale blueprint onto France's vast 28 million people population and created a system that was fundamentally out of scale and disastrous. This is why, again, the American founders like Jefferson consolidated federal power and favored local self-government and sought to have separations of power and checks and balances. Which brings us to modern times. The problem is amplified today where gigantic bureaucracies make government feel distant. Scholars of the Republican tradition argue that a true republic requires not only self-government and self-rule, but also human scale. Human scale is a key issue, often forgotten today. We see structural failures acutely in representation. According to Dr. Donald W. Livingston, the contemporary United States is an example where one representative serves approximately 700,000 people. He claims this ratio is structurally so inadequate that it does, quote, it's not remotely within public scale, end quote. And he says that makes talk of Republican self-government, quote, utterly meaningless, end quote. The necessity of a correctiveness and a correction idea comes from thinkers like E.F. Schumacher. He insisted that the principles of decentralization, subsidy over centralization in big organizations, Schumacher warned against confusing the development of powerful machines with true human progress, urging to direct technological development back towards the, quote, real size of man. In his words, man is small and therefore small is beautiful. To go for giantism is to go for self-destruction. Ultimately, the task is one of metaphysical reconstruction in Schumacher's view. This means ensuring political institutions are shaped within the scale of the human mind, the human body, and our diverse community. To do this, we need to have human scale, and we need to have empathy in our systems.